Welcome to the podcast. It's the best podcast in the world. This is going to end up on the show. I know it, motherfucker.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 118 of Epitome of Stupidity, your favorite allegedly metal podcast. Returning from a winter break here with Axioma, whom I saw open for Pelican just a few weeks ago, and well, suffice to say, they caught my fucking attention. The intro song is called Dogma, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but hey, at least I'm consistent. Speaking of consistent,
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival, the pinnacle of rock festivals in America, returns in 2025 with Linkin Park, Korn, 2 nights of Metallica, No Repeat Weekend, plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Alice in Chains, Rob Zombie, 3 Days Grace, Alice Cooper, I Prevail, Jimmy Eat World, Chevelle, Motionless in White, and so many more. May 8th to the 11th at historic Crew Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Passes on sale now at SonicTempleFestival.com.
I know it's still winter and all that, but Sonic Temple is actually only like 4 fucking months out. So make sure you've got your tickets and your passes and your camping and your beer funds and all that stuff so that you're there for all 4 of those fucking insane days. So if you're new here, welcome in. I'm Clint. I'll be your host. And I think what you're doing with your hair absolutely works. Your significant other can kiss my ass. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. Returning listener or non-new listener, you should be going to brimminghornmeadery.com, picking out some award-winning mead, using code EPITOMEAD at checkout. That's EPITOMEAD, and get yourself a 10% discount. It's the perfect fucking price. Get you some delicious mead at a discount. No matter who you are, do it. It's good. This is the part where I tell you what I've been listening to lately, just in case you forgot, or like I have, you'll have to read it off the prompt here so that I can remember what it is I do here. So lately, I've been listening to a lot of show-related stuff for some bands that are coming up. I've also listened to the new We Demon album, which is fan-damn-tastic. It's called The Doom Scroll. For all you Stoner Doom folks, you should absolutely be listening to that. Listening to a lot of She here recently, too. They were on the show not all that long ago. They opened for We Demon here recently. Opened, whatever. It was just a fan-damn-tastic show. Other than that, I've been enjoying the hell out of some Primus, because why not? I'm excited about the new drummer and all that stuff, some The Sword. And like I said a second ago, a bunch of stuff that's kind of show-related. Bands like Guiltless, the band 16, Telepathy, a little band called Scour, maybe you've heard of them. A lot of good stuff on the horizon. Stick around. Moving on here, how about some quick cliff notes on Axioma? Noted as purveyors of dark apocalyptic metal from Cleveland, they've been around since 2015 and done cool shit like record live stuff during a solar eclipse. What the fuck? How did I not think of that? Because I'm stupid, that's how. These guys are not, and they did something really fucking cool with a really cool song and a really cool, essentially once-in-a-lifetime fucking setting. They've put out 3 EPs and 2 LPs in that time. And after seeing them live, like I said, not too long ago, open for Pelican, I can tell you that without a doubt, they can absolutely demolish live. Even when the bass player breaks a string, apparently. Speaking of bass players, how about we hop on a call with Axioma's bass player, one Aaron, and have a more in-depth conversation. Intra-Ohio phone sounds go. Blah. Ring. And he answered. On the line with me today is Aaron of Axioma. Am I saying that right?
Axioma.
I'm leaving out a syllable. Shame on me. Aaron of Axioma, how the hell are you today? Where are you calling from?
Doing all right. I'm calling from Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland rocks, huh?
Lovely Cleveland.
We've a little bit behind baseball here. We've already talked about it, and the weather's not only shitty in Cleveland, but it's shitty in Columbus. So, Ohio's consistent, if nothing else.
Exactly.
What you been listening to lately?
Oh, yeah, jeez. Well, a lot of material that we're writing. Been listening to a lot of that. I think recently I put on a Fela Kuti, Ginger Baker record. Checked out the new Dax Riggs. As far as new stuff, like the Orangey Pazuzu, I listened to a few times. Jeez, man, put me on the spot here. Well, in my vehicle, I have no working radio, and the aux doesn't work, so I'm forced to listen to CDs. So I've had older Sub Pop band Pleasure Forever has been playing in there.
All right.
Some Discharge, a band called Guapo, and that's about all I remember in the car because I have to put in one CD,
right?
Changer or anything like that.
Just like
so
in
a lot of times
1998.
a lot of times I just turn it off because I'm like, I've heard this CD 5 times already in the last couple days. So I drive in silence with, all the things in my head to keep me busy.
I'm sure that goes just fine too.
But yeah, that's about all I can come up with on the spot like that.
All right. So as has been noted here, my introduction to you guys was the Pelican Show here in Columbus a few weeks ago. The flyer's here behind me somewhere. How'd that show come about?
Well, actually, I saw it get posted on social media. The promoter is a friend of mine. I hit him up, said, "Hey, we'd be willing to play that." He's like, "Well, we got to check with Pelican." Well, oddly enough, I'm friends with Trevor and Pelican, so I texted him like, "Hey, might be getting a call from a promoter. Axioma would love to play." He's like, "Consider it done." So there you go.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome, man. During that show, I believe you broke a string.
Indeed, I did.
How do you deal with that in the moment?
You just gotta keep going.
Which...
We were oddly enough, we cut a song somewhat because of that, but also because the show it was kind of running late. So it was like a 4-minute song, and it was kind of just worked out perfectly. And it happened to be at the end or middle of the song before, so we cut. So it all worked out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that was the second show in a row that I did that. Broke a string.
You're beating the hell out of those damn things.
Change string brands.
Which string are you breaking?
It would be, well, technically considered the A string.
Okay.
But that tuning we use a drop D, or I'm sorry, a drop G. So it's an odd, like I have to buy for the big string. It's a like 160 gauge.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I have to buy those separate. They're like anywhere from $10 to $15 just for one string. Luckily, I didn't break that.
Right, kill somebody with that thing. I think when you mean buy it separate, you mean chop down a nearby telephone pole and strap it to your bass.
Pretty much.
Jimmy Christmas.
Or steal one out of a piano.
That thing is huge. Wow. Your bass tone really stands out. As a bass player myself, that was the very first thing that drew me into you guys there that night. How the hell did that come about?
Oh, Jesus. Many, many years of
it's so
playing.
Sharp and so growly, and it's so many things.
I've honestly, I've been using the same bass setup since the late 90s. Back when I did Keel Hall, it was the exact same thing. And it's pretty much the same tone that I've always had. I've tried so many different things, and just that what I have right there, as soon as I touch the strings, man, I fucking feel it. And if I put something else in that chain or try a different pedal or anything, I'm like, nope, it's not there. Can't feel it. You gotta feel it.
Right.
It can sound great, but if you're not feeling it, then
not working.
Not working.
Fun fact, after the show was over, I was talking to a buddy of mine, Chris from the local thrash band Tackas, about you guys and about your bass tone. And in doing so, I pronounced the band name even wronger than I did to you just a second ago. I was leaving not only that middle syllable out, but the A off the end. So it was just Axiom. And I did it a bunch of fucking times. And I turned around and you were standing directly fucking behind me. So there I am talking about your tone and mispronouncing the hell out of your bass or at your band. Please tell me you heard me and thought, what a jackass.
If I did, I don't recall.
That's a shame. I turned around and there you were, and I thought, all right, well, I guess it's time for me to leave.
The pronunciation it's common like everywhere we go. Like I even have friends that still they've known this band for 5-6 years, however fucking long we've been around, still can't pronounce it right. So it is what it is.
Axioma.
As long as you're listening to the music.
Sure. Yeah. Where'd the name come from?
I'm not real sure, to be honest. Our guitar player Cyril came up with it. And he's told me, but I don't remember exactly how he came up with it. We've noticed some other things called Axioma, like there was a yacht from a Russian mobster or something that got seized. It was called Axioma. There's a few other bands around the world that are either using or have used the name, but I'm pretty sure we've got like 5-6 releases out and have been using it consistently for probably longer. So we don't own it or anything. But.
Right. I love the idea behind the live totality thing that you guys did with the Eclipse, and the song itself is fucking amazing. I want to ask a smart question here, but basically it's just a big what, why, and how. Between what song to do, where the idea come from. Was it stressful doing it in the moment? Because I mean, if you get it wrong, you got to live till what 2099 to try it again.
Right.
How did all that come about?
Man, we were a friend of mine recently bought some property out on Lake Erie. Got a really good deal, and his house is right there on the lake. And he came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, that Eclipse, and also it's in Lorain, Ohio, where his house is. The Eclipse was supposed to be like 99.8 or something ridiculous totality in literally that spot, like in Lorain, Ohio."
Right.
So he approached us and said, "Hey, man, would you guys want to come play during the Eclipse?" We're like, "Yeah, that'd be fun." And then, light bulb went off, and I'm just like, "Well, we're not gonna just go up there and play our songs and have me screaming at people while the Eclipse is going." Stupid. So we decided, well, let's write a piece of music that goes with the Eclipse. So we're constantly writing. We're going to go over some stuff right in a little bit after this. So we have ideas all over the place, computers and whatnot. So we decided, all right, well, let's see what we got. So we pulled together some stuff, wrote some stuff, rehearsed it for a couple months, and then it ended up being like this 14-minute long, instrumental doom song. We in our practice spot, we record things and demo them out. And we did that for a couple months. And then the time came, I brought this little computer right here, and we did 16 tracks, mic'd everything up, and said, all right, let's go for it. And I should also say that I found an app on the phone and put in the coordinates where we would be, and it had the exact time of the eclipse and when it would be in totality. So that we used that as a template for the timing wise. So we went out there, and I mean, so much could have gone wrong. I mean, come on, it's Cleveland. could have been fucking snowing and not seeing the sun.
Right, right.
I mean, literally a week before, I was just gonna say, let's just fucking not do this, because taking all our gear out there and all that, and it was like chance of rain, and then a couple days before, it's like gonna be sunny. All right, fuck it, let's do it. So we took everything out there and we went for it, and somehow it fucking worked. I mean, we didn't necessarily have plans as a release of it, you know. We were just going to be happy to get through it, and you know, maybe record the song in a studio in the future or something. And man, it came out so good. We went into the studio and mixed it, and we're like, all right, we got to put this out. Because as far as I know, to this day, no one did that. No one, no band, no, not even some acoustic artists. As far as I know, I've seen nothing. I just assumed we'd be one in 100 artists that tried to do that, and as far as I know, no one did it.
That I'm so glad you pointed that out, because like when I started looking into stuff and realizing what that was, it just, yeah, how the hell is this not a pervasive idea here? What the hell? That is a fucking fantastic idea, and to whatever degree, I'm glad nobody else did come up with it, because live totality fits the fucking bill. I mean, you
piece
hear
of history.
You hear that, right? That's a man. That's really cool. And the song itself and the EP it's attached to seem a little different, a little more post metal than the things previous. Is that the direction we're heading, or is that just for that time in the?
That's just that time and our, you know, and what we do. Like those other two songs were pretty much written or just about written. So in that time frame of 6 months or whatever, that's what we were doing. And once we did that live totality, we were like, well, shit, we got to go and get these other tunes finished up and go in the studio. And that's what we did. And it all worked out.
Yeah, it certainly fucking did. You guys aren't like typical verse, chorus, breakdown, etc. band either. So,
right.
With that in mind, how does the writing process work for you?
Oh man, it's like all of us contribute. Like there could be an idea laying around for 3-4 years or 10 years, or it could just be us in the room jamming and be like, hey, what's that? Let's record it. Let's work on that. And everyone's always throwing out ideas, and it's a constant evolving process. Usually we have to be like, all right, we got to stop this. We got enough for a song here. We got to just, because it's just gonna be never ending.
Right.
So we have to move on to other things, and that's what we have to do. And we're constantly writing. So we're writing a record right now, and we got more than half of it, skeletons of songs done, or not done, but ready to get finished.
Nice. Always at it, huh? So, if dark and apocalyptic are some of the descriptors being used, I doubt that these songs are about picnics on sunny beaches and stuff like that. What are some of the thematics here?
I mean, they could be. Depends on how you interpret it.
I mean, I love a sandwich. You can scream at me about a sandwich. I don't care.
I mean, I don't know. Pop some mushrooms and see what happens. Yeah, it's more about the dark side of humanity, and you know, as a quote, one of my favorite quotes of all times from Bill Hicks is how humans are just a virus with shoes. You know, so it's kind of just on all that. Will, you know, control, you know, like religious control, political control. Not that we're political, but it's all about the human essence of wanting to control others, things of that nature.
If I remember right, Do you know the band Unsane?
Indeed, I do.
Chris Spencer was on the show not too long ago for his new band, Human Impact.
Yeah.
And that seems to be a lot of the themes for him, too.
Yeah. I've known Chris for 20 plus years. Back when I was in Keelhaul, we toured with the Unsane multiple times. And yeah, the last time Human Impact came through, I went and saw him. So I've known Chris for a long, long time. And yeah, we have things in common such as that.
All kind of makes sense. So there's 1,000 different genre names and subgenres and, tree branches off of that genre that goes into this one. Which one do you hear most associated with you guys, and which one do you actually, how would you actually describe Axioma?
I don't describe it, number one, but I've heard all kinds of dumb shit, but post this, post that, right. Sludge, but the one common thread is a lot of people have told me that they can't categorize it, and therefore I can appreciate that. As far as what I mean, it's all fucking rock and roll to me.
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
it's different form of it.
Right. It's something that gets really overthought sometimes, and it's all rock and roll to me is a good way to come back to it and kind of, give me a guitar, let me go.
Yeah, man. I mean, parents hated rock and roll. You rebelled as a kid because of rock and roll, and then, or at least I did because I'm old as fuck. But, it was rock and roll, punk rock, metal, and all that stuff. It's just, that's what it is to me. It's the same.
What's your favorite album of you guys'?
Oh, geez. Full length, I guess, would be like Sepsis, although I haven't listened to it forever, so I might tell you something different if I put it on. I honestly haven't listened to any of those records, like sat down from start to finish in years. So, but as far as the process and everything, as far as full lengths, that's probably my favorite.
Which one's the one that people should listen to jump on board with Axioma?
I would say the first EP, Opia, because that's when we came together, and you can see the evolution. I when I hear a band for the first time, I'll listen to a couple of their new tunes. If I haven't heard them, I go all the way back. I want to see, like, okay, where did they start, and this is where they've gotten to.
How'd we end up here?
Yeah. So I would say Opia, and that odd thing about Opia was it was a side project of Cyril, the guitar player, and he was doing other bands, and he's just kind of doing it for fun. And I asked him, I saw him somewhere, and I said, so what's up with that? That project? He's like, well, I'm just going to go in and play bass because we can't find a bass player. And I happen to have free time. I said, well, show me or send me the songs and I'll check it out. So I did. And, all right, cool. I went in, I listened to the songs for a couple weeks. I never sat down and tried to play along or anything. And I went in the studio like fucking cold and was just like, all right, let's try this. And in like 2 days, I did all the bass on the record. And then I had a couple vocal ideas, and they had a vocalist. And I just was like, well, let me throw these scratched ideas down, and then, the vocalist can use them, or he doesn't have to. It doesn't matter. It's just these ideas I have. And he calls me like the next week. He's like, all right, well, you're the vocalist now. Whoa, no. I didn't sign up for that. And then it started from there. And then, so with that being said, Opia would be definitely the first one, because then there's a very huge difference once you go to Opia to the newer stuff. Because now we've played many shows and we've done a lot of out of town stuff, and that only makes you better as a unit.
Sure. How long did it take you to adjust to the whole singing thing?
Oh shit, I've been doing it for since 1993. I've been screaming and playing at at the same time since '93, and it's always literally every project where I'm doing vocals by default. I've never wanted to do vocals. I still don't want to do vocals. Always by default. And I've done guest vocals on some people's stuff. And I'm always like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then I realize when it's time to do it, fuck, why did I say that? I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy, I mean, I like live screaming at people. Sure. But yeah, it's always been by default. But yeah, since probably '93 I've been doing this.
I think somewhere along the line you were in Ringworm too, weren't you?
Yeah, I did many tours with them. I never recorded, or I was never really a part of the band, so to speak. I was basically their drink, because they're from Cleveland.
Right.
And I'm drinking buddies with all those guys, and they would be like, God damn it, so and so quit. We got this tour. I'm like, I'll do it. So basically, I would just learn their songs so I could go travel the world drinking with them for the most. So yeah, Ringworm. I played rhythm guitar at one point and played bass at another point. But I mean, I got to go to Australia, and I got to see a lot of stuff because of those guys, because they travel.
It seems like a buddy of mine and I were talking about this recently. I turned him on to you, and he was all over it, and he's a real big Ringworm fan, so I didn't even realize that at the time, but was happy to make the connection. But Cleveland metal, or the music scene in general, seems like it's almost underrated, but there's a lot of great fucking heavy bands and musicians and shit that come from there. I think we should, we've already talked about all the subgenre things. I think there should be a lake effect metal genre.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. I mean, this is a dirty old rusty fucking beat up steel town, man, and people are pissed. So it pretty much, since the I mean shit, the Dead Boys are from Cleveland, but so I should say since the late '70s, '80s, so many bands have come up.
Yeah.
In the hardcore in the early '90s, it's a legendary music place for sure. And most people just laugh at, oh, Cleveland, whatever.
Right.
And I mean, even today, there's tons of like younger death metal bands that are just killing it, and they're fucking getting huge.
Who are yours and or the band's musical influence?
Oh shit! I mean, I first wanted to play guitar because of Kiss. I grew up in the '70s and '80s, so musically, that's what got me to start playing guitar. And then I got into the rock, classic rock, and then got into pretty much thrash metal and punk right around the same time. Up through that into the earache era metal or death metal bands, the late '80s, early '90s death metal bands. Then I went way underground after that. And yeah, just anything and everything from the early '70s till now. That's my musical influences.
Covered a lot of ground.
Pretty much anything that you any stimuli that you come across is an influence. You have a bad day at work, come home like, God damn it, and play the most pissed off riff ever, and you're like, sweet, that works. So influences are just, I mean, like I said before, live in Cleveland, weather shitty, drive around a bunch of abandoned steel mills. Time to go home, write a riff.
Seems like a solid way to end the day. So what's you've got the Ringworm experience, you've got the 10+ years with Axioma, right? 10 years, something like that.
Something like that. I don't think it's quite 10 yet. It could be.
What's your favorite? What are the best recording and or tour story? Wow. I will try that again. What are the best recording and or tour story?
Oh shit, man. I had many. Well, I mean, one of my favorite records as far as recording I did was a project called Brain Tentacles, and we went out to a place in the middle of Illinois. Matt from Hum owns a studio called Analog. I think it's called Analog Studio, Analog Audio, something like that. I think this was like in 2015, so it's been a while. And it's literally like a one stoplight town, no distractions. You live upstairs while you're there, and like one day I didn't even put pants on, like came down, recorded, I mean, pajamas, but
Sure.
it was so that was a really cool experience to just do that like that, because most of well, I've also recorded some records where I was staying in Brooklyn, New York City. Those are interesting as well, taking the subway to the studio every day and back, things of that nature. But I love the studio. A lot of people don't. But those are some good memories. As far as touring, oh shit, man, there's a million stories. I've probably been in 20 plus countries. Got in the 2000s. Got to play in Russia.
Wow.
2 shows. Don't know if that'll ever happen again, but man, too many. I can't even, like, one just wouldn't be enough. One story.
What are the goals for the band?
Goals are just to keep writing music so we don't go insane. To be honest, I mean, look, obviously goals would be like, to tour and stuff like that, but we're just focused on just continually writing music. We've tried to do the agent thing, and just no one really responds to us for whatever reason. So we're just like, fuck it, we'll just keep making music, and that's what we're doing.
How do you guys delegate the random band jobs?
They kind of just fall into place, really. Like Justin, he's a very accomplished artist. He does all the artwork, layout, and everything for the records, the shirts, all that stuff. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty much just everybody has their own little niches that they pick up. Every once in a while, you be like, "Hey, can you take care of that?" Sure, but everyone's it's a pretty democratic situation we got.
Now, since you've been in the music scene, Cleveland or otherwise, for so long, I want to ask, how has the scene, feels like such a cheap or generic word the further into this. The more I say scene is what it works out to be.
I always spell it SEEN.
There you go. It's
because that's it is.
Yeah. How has it changed in all this time? And better, worse, otherwise?
I couldn't tell you, because there's definitely a massive scene here in Cleveland right now, but I'm not really a part of it because I'm so much older. And I mean, I still go to shows, but I see all the young kids and everything, and they're fucking killing it. They're throwing, fucking DIY shows in Taco Bell parking lots and just all kinds of shit, and it's great. When I was coming up in Cleveland in the 90s, it was great. You had all kinds of venues, and the scene here was very, very prominent. Like, there was tons of people involved. It might have fell off a bit maybe in the 2000s. I could be wrong. Maybe I just wasn't around as much because I was out of town a lot during those periods, but it's always been really strong here. Like, I've in my travels, like, I come back here and people are like, "Man, this town sucks, I want to leave." I'm like, well, I just came to the U.S. tour, and you should probably stay, because I've been to some towns where the shit is way worse than this. I mean, what other, like, there's like 4 college radio stations here. Where else, other than maybe, New York, Chicago, where are you going to get that?
Right.
4 college radio stations that play all kinds of music. You're not going to get that anywhere.
No.
So, but, people call it the rock and roll capital, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's not that. It's just people here are really passionate about music.
How do you describe your music to a family member or a coworker or somebody that is going to have that reaction who, just found out that you're in a band?
I'll just say it's very loud and aggressive, and it usually curbs them from asking any more questions.
That seems to be the overall plan there, is to just answer the question in a way that doesn't allow for follow-up questions.
Exactly.
What do you think the most common stereotypes are about heavy music, and how would you debunk them if you think they're seen as negative?
Well, most people just probably think there's no real thought put into the music. People are screaming and like, I can't understand what you're saying, this and that. So that being said, I'm kind of like, well, maybe you need to look into it more. Maybe you're the one that's just, maybe you need to research, see what they really are talking about. But, I think the biggest conception is that heavy music, for people who know nothing about it, they're scared of the sonic part, and they're scared of what they don't know, and they don't understand it, so they just refuse to even look into it. And all I would have to say is just take a chance and check it out. You might really enjoy it. And if not, all right, doesn't matter.
There's plenty of other stuff out there.
Yeah.
What was your introduction to heavy music?
Kiss.
Was it
when I was a kid?
Okay.
Yeah, I was probably 6, 7 years old at my grandmother's house. Both my parents worked, and my uncle was at high school or whatever, and I would try to sneak into his room, and I saw a Hit Parader magazine, and I asked my grandmother, who are those girls? She's like, they're not girls. And I'm like, what? And so she explained it to me, and then she went and put on some Kiss records and played them for me. And here I am, ruined my life.
Kiss strikes again. This has been a good conversation, man. I've enjoyed it. I'm going to ruin all the smart things you said there by wrapping this up with some of the stupid questions I usually do to end these with. I used to call them rapid fire questions, but some of them aren't really rapid answers, so I've dubbed them stupid fire.
Probably get stupid answers too.
This is going to work out just fine. First one here is coffee or tea?
Tea.
I did not see that coming. Something you could eat for a week straight?
Like spaghetti or chili, because it gets better as time goes.
Chili for sure. Yeah, that's a good call. Beatles or the Stones?
Stones.
Yeah, my guy.
For me.
They've got so much more than the Beatles, but man, when they nail it, they fucking nail it.
Yeah, I mean, it swagger and attitude, man. It takes them over the top.
If you had to compare your music to an animal, what would that animal be?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, the first thing that pops in my head, but it's lame, would be Wolverine. But I guess if it's rapid fire, I guess we'd go with that, because I would have to sit and think about that for a while.
This is the animal section of the show, apparently. If you could ask one animal one question, what's the animal? What's the question?
I would ask, like, eagles or hawks, how fucking cool is it to just fly wherever the fuck you want? And I mean, I know what the answer would be.
Sure,
so
but you still want to hear him say it, right? What's a song you grew up with that you hope to never hear again?
Oh, Jesus Christ. There's all of them. There's so many. I mean, I do live sound, so I hear, yeah. As far as when I grew up listening, hearing radio songs, you think you heard them the most on the radio. You play or you work in a fucking music venue that a lot of cover bands play in. Holy shit. It's horrible. Like, you know, fucking Susan or brown eyed girl, and just like there's a whole bunch of them, and I've tried to block them out of my head. even when they come on, it's just like I have a gift of that. When I was a kid, my mother in the car would always listen to country radio. So we're talking 80s country music. So it would be pop country in the 80s.
Right.
It was horrible what they played on the radio. It wasn't Waylon Jennings. It wasn't Willie. It wasn't any of the good stuff. So as a child, I was just able to block that stuff out, and I didn't hear it. So sorry about that long-winded
No,
rapid
you're fine.
What?
Like I said, this doesn't work as rapid fire, so we're going with stupid fire. Beer or liquor?
It's always been beer, but lately it might be liquor because I'm just getting old, and too many beers is just a lot for your body to process.
Yeah. Scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
1.
Don't
trust me. Ask any of my friends.
Don't tell Aaron anything. Got it. What's your go-to karaoke?
Wait a minute. How does that? Is 10 like actually keeping the secret?
10 is you're a vault. 1 is
10.
Oh, okay.
10.
Got it back. It's funnier if you're telling it. It's funnier if you're the gossip girl, but we'll go.
No, 10. Yeah, I don't. Everybody. I mean, people know when they tell me something, they don't even have to say, "All right, this is just between me and you," because I'm not. I get nothing out of telling people anything. So
I was genuinely shocked at the reversal there, because I would not pick you as the gossipy type based on this conversation alone.
Oh, hell no. No.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
I've only done karaoke once in my life.
What's your favorite thing to sing along to in the shower on the radio?
I don't. I honestly don't. Or I haven't for many, many years. But the karaoke song I did was Taking Care of Business. That was at a friend's wedding about 20 plus years ago. And I would probably do it again. Because, I don't know, it was fun.
Beer or liquor involved that day?
I'm sure. It was a wedding.
Sausage links or patties?
Links.
Quick with the links, huh? Okay. So the last question here is something completely unique to this show. Nobody's ever thought to ask something like this ever before. So I hope you're ready. You, Aaron of Axioma, are sent to an island by yourself. You get to take one album with you. What's the album?
Fuck. I don't know. I wish you would have asked movie, because then I would have had an easy answer. But album, man, that's too hard. I don't know. Captain Beyond, the first record.
What's the movie?
Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
Which would be a total bummer to be stuck on an island watching that. Still, I would have to. I can't go like in a year or two without watching it. So.
Okay. At this point, I'd like to say thanks to Aaron for carving out some time to talk with me today, especially right before band practice. Be sure to use the links below in the show description to check them out and follow them on all the socials. When you turn on any of their tunes, please make sure to use the volume knob and turn it all the way to the right so that it's very loud, because I found that it's even better when it's very loud. There are links to the podcast as well in the show description, as well as the Brimming Horn dudes and Sonic Temple. Follow everybody, and they follow the podcast on all the socials as well. Please hit the old subscribe button to wherever it is that you're hearing this from, and if possible, give a review or stars. That should be about enough for me. At this point, I'm going to give it back to Aaron one more time for him to introduce the outro song for us.
You are listening to Dogma from the Live Totality EP by Axioma.
Lead a ball, the path of life.